Hello, Transformers fans, and today I have another upgrade for you. The Transform DreamWave TCW-06 for Volcanicus. And it's pretty much the standardized box that we see from Transform DreamWave. It has a, schematic-y drawing of some of the pieces right here, which would be the hands, some of the filler pieces, chest and crotch, the two new feet, and backing plate. And then on both sides, this is the same thing, the schematic drawing of Grimlock's weapons. Yes, you get two. And then you get 3 swords for the 3 Dinobots who did not get them in original packaging. And then you see the pictures in color on the back of everything that comes in here. You actually get quite a lot with this kit, considering what you're paying for it. And it does come with the bonus of the swords and, well, the small swords and the combined sword. You get the combined sword in a regular black plastic as the little bonus. So there's that. Alrighty, and I already have my first set of Dinobots in their Dino mode to show off that end of it, and I have my second set to the other side in robot mode to show off everything for that vantage point. So for now, I'm just gonna use the pieces that I do not have for the alt mode or anything just yet. Just so that way you can see what they look like. And yes, I do only have the 1 foot and the 1 hand out right now because they are being used at the moment. Excuse me. And these are the new hands for Volcanicus. And I do really like these. Because it is painted. They do have the gold paint and some gold plastic for the claw part of the hand, and which it looks very nice. It has some really nice molded in detailing in here, which I quite like. Nice gold paint right up in here, and then you can see very nice looking claw with that gold plastic, and even bigger claw for the thumb. Very nice. And very articulate hands right here. The thumb is on the ball joint here, and then it's got a hinge right here towards the base, and then a hinge right up here at the claw. And then all 4 fingers, I mean, they do seem to be all the same size, but if you actually take a closer look, the only way that I got 2 out of 4 actually don't seem as tall as the other ones. Because this one looks a little bit taller than these two, and then this one even looks a little tiny bit taller than that finger. But either way, you get some nice good splaying out on the fingers right there from that hinge, and you get the hinge right down here at the base. And then they all have the joint right here at the first knuckle, and then the joint right here at the claw. And these do transform just like every other hand that Transform DreamWave has. You just split them right here. Remember to push that down. And I will be going over the pegs, because I mean, if you take a look at the peg on here, you'll actually see it's not like doesn't look like the straight out of the box plastic like it's supposed to. I will definitely talk about that after the hand and feet transformation. So you just flip the thumb around and you pop the claw part down, and then you untab these from the sides, just right in there. And the only thing that I wish was that there was a tabbing in point for these as part of the gun transformation, because these just tend to like to flop around a little bit, just because this one has a little bit of a loose joint right there. But there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Pretty much the same kind of thing as their other hand guns, except for the fact of the gold paint and the big claws on the sides, and it's shooting through the claws on the front. So there's that. And looks pretty much mostly like what their other feet look like. You get the nice joint and the ratchets going front to back, and the hinge side to side. Nice movement. Goes all the way from side to side and front to back. And it's good looking black plastic on the front. Nice spikes on the top of the toes, and even nice spikes for the toes, and that nice gold paint. Very, very nice. And the instructions actually do show the feet having a little bit more usage than what it showed in the Computron and Superion kit. And then we have the new chest plate. Very nice molding. As you can see, unfortunately, my chest plate, they ended up missing some of the paint over on this side, which that's okay. I mean, all I have to do is just paint it myself to even out the match. But there's some pretty nice detailing in here. You got the gold paint. Black, it's supposed to be black, or at least it looks black on camera. Some silver right up in here, right here. Some of the red down here is part of the upper part of the waist, upper mid part of the waist, I should say. So yeah, I mean, it's even gold paint over gold colored plastic, so I mean, actually gives it a nice gold pop. So very, very nice. And you have the new back piece. Once again, back piece is done over the top of gold plastic, painted gold. And it has very, very nice molded in detailing to kind of recreate like a spine kind of look in here, which is very, very cool. I really like that. And just some regular, you know, detailed gray plastic over in here. Some of that black paint right up in here. Well, that's pretty much it for this piece. And then you have the new crotch plate, done in the gray plastic with the rest of the waist, lower part of the waist, done in that red paint and the gold paint right up in here. And then there's a little bit of paint just right up in the sides here because it's over the gray plastic. It looks like it's supposed to black paint, but it also kind of resembles like a gunmetal in there just because of the light. But it's got some pretty good molded and detailing right in here. Okay, there we go. And you do get two Grimlock blasters, just done in a black plastic. Then you get the two for Swoop, right there. And then you even get two for Mr. Snarl. A bad detailing on this. Or on this, I mean, these look like missiles. These, however, I'm thinking they probably could have put a little bit of actual paint on this. You know, just like maybe some paint up at the top, just to differentiate it a little bit. But what are you gonna do? You know, at the end of the day, it's still just a blaster. So, alrighty. And then we are going to do a transformation of his feet, and then we're going to take a look at the pieces. Alrighty, so these kind of pull apart a bit different than the other sets of feet, in which I really don't like having to put any pressure on the plastic, but you kind of have to force the piece around the toe right here in order to get it to pop out. So like that. And then you can unpeg this part from the front of the toe right in here, and then pop these out of that peg hole right there, and you just set that off to the side because you don't actually use them. Alright, so you have different options for the blaster usage on these. You can keep them all together like this, or you can once again pull them apart and use them all individually. And this is something I wish that they would actually start doing, is actually painting these separately, because now we have the black plastic showing, and then you get like splattered effect on the paint, which, yeah, I kind of wish they would actually paint these individually, because now you even have freaking bars of paint on one side and or bar of just the plastic on the other side. Black splatter effect. So yeah, just kind of wish they would paint these individually before putting them together. But no, let's take them. It's the looks like the exact same molding as any of their other previous feet for the gun portions. Still nice molded and detailing, even with the paint job on there. So And, you know, as always, well, looks like the exact same molding. You even have a spot for a repro label right there. Even though none of the usages actually for this kit either have that being shown. Transforms the exact same way from the previous two kits. And no, there is not any stress marks in either feet right there at the hinges. And these are actually a bit looser than the two previous kits. So just pop those down, fold them in, and yeah, see, a little bit looser. And that's a shield right there, or also used as a weapon. Alright, so bring the first team out, and I will show those pieces off, which I already have both of them on Snarl. And this is meant to go into this peg hole, right like that. But before I do that, as I said, I am going to go over the pegs on the hands and the feet. Okay, so as you notice on the pegs here, they definitely don't look like the plastic surrounding them, and that is because straight up out of the box, when I tried to check before trying to put them into the pegs to see if they were too big, you know, the whole groove issue, and they were. My pegs were too big on the hands to go into the port on the arms for swoop, so that the peg on both hands was actually too big to go in there without breaking anything, you know. So I mean, I had to take care of both of them, both hands, both feet. So if you haven't assembled yours yet, I would suggest using some sandpaper, either, you know, 120 grit or 220 grit sandpaper, just to get these down to the perfect size, so that way there's friction. Some people, no doubt, would probably have used some super glue because they ended up trying to put these in as is, and their ports cracked. And that's what the super glue would actually have been for, was to help keep that port from breaking down any further. So, but there we go. In the wrong direction though. And I do strongly suggest actually taking care of your pegs before trying to put them in. So I mean, I do have a little bit as I was trying to actually take care of mine. As you can see, this is kind of like supposed to be the blaster hole right there. As I was trying to see if they were going in the right way or not, so I do have a little bit of stress in my peg holes. Not much. And then for what I was going to use for the feet, I do have a little bit of cracking. But that was still, once again, like trying to test fit as I was using the sandpaper. They still hold really, really good though. So, and after the sanding, getting the peg hole smaller, yes, the pegs do go right where they're supposed to, in the sides of sludge, as you can see from my copy here. And and it is a nice, good friction right in here. You can see right here just by me trying to move it. Nice and good friction trying to get in there. And then snarl, these are the other bits, these are the filler pieces for combine mode. And as you can see, it has some nice detailing up in here for the way that they're supposed to be used for, you know, like the blasters on the sides right here, the double-barreled blasters, just done in the gray plastic, and some black paint right up in here. Very, very nice. And then Swoop is supposed to have his, this little tab right here is supposed to go into that slot. The only thing is there's probably a little bit too much friction on these, trying to get these in here. I get one side that actually stays in pretty nice, and then the other one doesn't really want to go in at all in there. There, see? So nope, that one doesn't want to go in now. Alright, let's try the other one. Alright. Oh, shoot, come on. These things do fall out. I mean, if you get them in, they do fall out quite easily, actually. And for some reason, they don't even want to go in there anymore. Shoot, let's see if I can get it to do it on the other side here. Like I said, there's just a little bit too much friction on these. Oh, they went in there just yesterday. I don't know why they're not going in there now. Oh, jeez. Hold on. I'm going to have to try to do this off camera right in front of my eyes instead of... No matter what I'm doing, they just... Okay. Okay, so I was able to get the one popped in. I'm not going to try to attempt to pop the other one in. But as you can see, this is the angle on which it ends up going in. So, it does stay in, but like I said, you know, sometimes if you just happen to hit it wrong, it'll pop out. Sometimes they'll pop out by themselves. But for right now, that's actually staying put, which is definitely a good thing. So I'm not going to try to actually put the other one in, because trying to put that one in, I'll probably knock that one out. So, alright. And we'll get these guys up out of the way just a tiny little bit, so that way I can pull Mr. Grimlock forward here. And the three main components do actually combine to make his back armament, and you just get this to come down, and then you flip it up, and then you push it back down on the slider. And be careful, because it is quite possible that you might end up causing a little bit of stress in these pieces, because they don't come up very easy. They go down better most of the time than they do come up. And you just keep them forward like this. And then you take the chest piece and you take these two tabs and you just put them through these two slots right in here. Just like that. And then you take the crutch plate and you flip the tab up, and that tab will just go into this slot right in here. And then sometimes the tab doesn't line up with the other slot completely on the other side, so sometimes it won't completely go in all the way. So sometimes you kind of gotta like just take the tab with your finger and just kind of like push down on it. And then it's actually got a tough, see, tough tab, final push right in there. So, alrighty, and then to attach this, all you gotta do is you take these two tabs and then put them into the two slots right back here on the original crutch plate. And it might be easier to attach Grimlock's blasters right now. Just tab those in. And then you can have these going in any direction that you want. You can have them like this, kind of angled in the same kind of direction that these are going in. And let me just tab those in there like that. And it just sits on his back like that. And yes, I know it's kind of high, and then like the tabs and ports on his back do actually cause him to raise up a little bit, and they blasters kind of like, you know, are aimed straight up in the air. Nice tough friction right in there. They do go into these ports down here, so if you really wanted to, you could put them right in here and then angle them right here, so that way you can have him just get a little bit of a lower aimed shot. So, I mean, there's that. And then we just bring the team in. And their armament for Dino mode. Well, not really much armament for Dino mode, but you know, it's just enough. Just enough. Alright, and then, well, I'm actually gonna have to pop this off for the next set here. Alright, and then we bring in their robot mode counterparts. And yes, I do have some of them with multiple usages right now. And as you can see, Slag, he does have his blaster. And then this is the sort I'm guessing Slag should have of the three right here. Like I said, I'm just guessing because, I mean, it doesn't really say, other than really Grimlock, on who gets what. But it's nice detailing. It's a nice red metallic paint up on the blade. And then I do have Swoop here. He's got his shield right here, and this is the new butt plate. And as you can see, it's got some really nice molded in detailing. It's got some of the black paint up along the sides, some of the gold paint right up in here, with some pretty good molded in detailing. And yes, I did do that on purpose. I waited until now to show that off. And he's got one of the hand-feet guns right up in here. He's got his Hasbro sword right here. So, that's what we got for Swoop. Oh well, tried to take his buddy out with the sword, his brand new sword. Alright, and then we got Mr. Sludge here. He's holding the other foot shield right in here. And then he's got the smallest of the foot multi-barrel blasters right in here. And then he could also hold his own blaster. Actually, no, that's made for Snarl. But, I mean, he can hold it. He can hold this, but it'll just be at an angle. You know, you can put it in there. It'll, all because of the claws. But he can hold the blaster. This is the easiest one for him to hold. Obviously, these other ones, the back is not really gonna get in the way on these ones. It is like right up against the plastic. It only forces it down a tiny little bit, so he can hold that pretty good. And then he's got his, what I'm guessing is his sword right in here, done in that same metallic red paint right in here. Very nice detailing. And, you know, it actually kind of looks like some of the power swords from the 80s. So, if that was supposed to be the effect, then they did a great job on that one. Okay, and then we got Snarl with the other shield right up in here. And these are also the thigh thickeners right in here. There's some detailing up in here. Pretty cool. I mean, it definitely does look better for the combined mode. And you got some of the gold paint right up on the sides right here, and a little bit of that same like black or gunmetal gray paint right up in the sides over in here. Yep, and the tab even popped out from there, but you just have to pop it through the bottom of the hand. Even though there's supposed to be, in all pictures I've seen, there's supposed to be 2 tabs, but apparently this tab right here gets cut off from factory, because apparently it might have gotten in the way of some transformation. So, and then he's got his sword, his clear sword, which kind of wish maybe they had made a new sword for him, but I mean, you could always paint over it, just like you could always paint over or repaint Swoops to try to match. And he holds his blaster really good. You know, that thing's not going anywhere. So, yep, you can definitely do that. So, last but not least is we attach the shield to Mr. Grimlock. And obviously you saw the movable tab right in here. Yeah. So you just pop that peg into that port. I mean, it can get a little bit tricky trying to get in there because this thing keeps constantly moving around. It doesn't really like lock in place for you to be able to work with all that great. But once you get it in there, yeah, it's good. And I have been kind of trying to see if I can get him to hold it in his hand. So let's see if I can get him to do an okay job holding it in his hand for this on camera. It's probably not going to want me to. But it hasn't gone all that great in the past, trying to see if I can get him to hold it in his hand. So, and that is the best I can do because of, you know, the way the plastic is formed. But he can still hold it in his hand if you want him to hold it in his hand. You just have to move the arm around a little bit so that way it looks like he's holding it straight. And it definitely does work. Obviously the peg's not going to go down too far into his hand, but it will hold for whatever you need it to do for any poses or anything. And then you can pop his blaster in his hand. And Mr. Grimlock does look pretty cool holding his blaster. And then you got his sword, his nice new sword. A very Grimlocky sword. Very nice with the metallic red paint. Alrighty. Okay. And from here, the only thing I gotta do is I gotta take off the pieces that I actually need for combine mode. And that is what we're gonna end up doing right now. And yes, it's gonna be transformation on camera. I mean, if I had the third set of these guys, then I wouldn't have had to actually do that. But it is what it is. Alright. Alright. No, that's the same side. And they go back into foot mode a lot better than they do coming out of foot mode for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. Oh, come on. Alright, there we go. There's the other toe. Okay. Go for that. Oh, I had that one hand in there and sludge for so long that you could hear that little snapping / popping sound as I was trying to take it out of there. But it's still good. Pegholes are still good. Tap it together. And tap that back together. And prep this. Pop that in half. Pop this piece, fold this piece up. And then pop this over. And then same thing, pop that up, pop that up. And for the butt plate, undo the sides right here. And then we untap this piece right here and bring that down. And then be careful when pulling this out. Ugh. Alright, and then you just take that tab and then fold that back in there. Pop the chest piece off. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. There we go. There. Oh, come on. No. Come on. There we go. Okay. Got the separated chest, and then take these and put these back into position for combine mode. And then pop that one back down. That's all set. Alright. And then we just get to transforming. Okay. Alright. Okay, so we got that bit done, and then we can take the new butt plate and you put it through here on this side. Oh, alright, forgot about that little step. Okay, so now we put it through here on the side. It just slides up over the rear right here. And then keep the legs as closed as possible when you're doing this, because you have to force the plastic up over the top of the thighs, and then still have to have enough room to get that piece right there in between to stay between the legs. So it's got to stay in between the legs. It forces it to keep an A stance in combine mode. And this part is a little bit tricky. Luckily, I have not gotten any stress marks yet. And then the tabs on both sides just go into the slots. And they are in. Okay, and then this peg is just going to go into that port. If you can get it lined up properly. Okay, there we go. Get it pushed in nice and good, and definitely make sure that that piece is all the way. Okay. And this part right here, because the instructions tell you that this just pushes up around this whole thing, the easier way to do it is to undo the top portion of Grimlock, put this up over the top, and this tab, you could call it, just slides right down underneath here, and these tabs just go right into the sides right here. So just put that on, And then what I do is I push, actually, no, wait a minute, hold on, did that wrong. Head's got to be down. Forgot to do that. Head's, dyno head has to be down when you're doing this. And then push that down on top of there. Okay, and then you just close this back up and then try to get these sides up around these two tabs right here as best as you can. So that way you can get this pushed down all the way. Okay, there's the one side. And there's the other side. I don't know, for some reason that seems like it doesn't want to be in there all the way. But it is, but that's all set right there. Okay, and you can actually bring the head out now. Alright. Let me do that. Okay. And then we're going to take the back plate, and then you got, well, the ports right here are just going to go right in, up in here, and these tabs are just going to slot in on these spots right in here. Just like that. Okay, and then the arms is what could end up being the tricky bit, because you have to finagle them in a way so that way that port goes into, or sorry, that peg goes into that port right in there, which can be a little tricky. And you know, actually, I should probably, it's been a little while since I put the arm, taken care of the arm, so I just want to make sure that I can get it in the right configuration here. You want to turn that. Come on, come on. There we go. Alright, there we got the other side in. Alright. Oh, you know, actually, it's, peg is supposed to be out. Alright, so, should look something like this. And obviously these top pieces aren't going to be down all the way, which is unfortunate. But what are you gonna do? It's the final overall effect that is what really counts. Alright, and then this one is for no. Yes, no, yes, no. 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 Okay, so oh, come on. Okay. And then take that, and then that tab is going to go into this slot right here. And these are those filler pieces. Just kind of make it so that way you can't see the Grimlock's hands right up in there. Okay, put that like that. And there we go for that. Alrighty. And then new crotch and waist piece right here. And those two tabs will just go into those two slots, kind of like it was in Dino mode. Make sure it's all the way in. Still have a nice waist joint right up in there. And you do notice that the back sides of the legs, the tail sticking out, is the different combined mode transformation than with the Perfect Effect kit or Volcanicus straight out of the box. So here we got that, and these are waist pieces. I wouldn't suggest putting them on until after you've got the legs in place. And for my legs, I am using Slag and Snarl. So, because I did end up saying that it was going to be a little bit different of a combine between the two kits, because of the way that everything would end up being put together, and with the arrangement of all the other items for the kit. So and then we put the foot in that, and as you could tell, it is nice and snug, but it's not over snug, and it has not cracked or broken the port in Snarl yet, so which is definitely a good thing. Alright, got that, got that. That tab came out. Like that. And put them here, and once again, it is a nice snug fit, and it's not just pulling right out. And this is how you want this to look when you use them as a leg. And all of the product shots for their kit online shows using sludge, but let's see if I can get the combiner port out here for sludge. There are pictures where it actually shows it being the combine peg back like this, and then you switching his leg around so that way it looks like it's still up in the air, because you know the head gets in the way, because you know this is as far down as the leg goes, and it just gets in the way of where the tail is because there's no space for it. So they show pictures of it like bent back like this before, you know, like anything else. So yep, so I definitely chose not to use that. Slag is good enough. Okay, so thigh thickener pieces, I got the legs on. So this just goes around the back side of the leg. This black piece of plastic just goes around the back, and this comes up around the front, and it just uses the Titan Master or Prime Master peg. We'll just go into that little port right there, and then you just push that in, and see it covers up the combined port. And then we take the other one here, just spread that out a little again, just so that way there is some space, and then boom, pop that on, and then we can move that back. Alright, and then all I gotta do is transform these guys into arms, and then then we'll be all set. I don't know what anybody else does, if they keep these separate, if they keep the tail pieces separate, or if they push them back together and keep them over there. But that's what I do. I keep the tail together, and then I'm going to use this as a left arm. Pop that down. Okay, and then we take the left hand, and look at that. It goes in nice and easy. Okay. It's a nice snug fit, does not come back out. Alright, and then actually, you know what, for this part I might actually want to raise the camera up. There we go, because he is a little bit tall. Okay. Alright, and then we just pop all sludge in there, straighten out the arm, and then we get swoop ready. It's almost kind of a good thing that, you know, some of these arm transformations are a little bit easier with the Dinobots than with some of the other Combiner Wars figures, because, you know, it just seems like there was always like a couple extra steps that you had to do in order to get them to that point. Some of them are easier than most. You pretty much just turn them upside down, but alright, here we go. And then take the other hand. Nice and snug fit right there. And then we put Swoop in up here. Oh, no. Come on. You've gone in before. There we go. This is one of the only things about this is that his arm actually is like a little bit splayed out, so you kind of have to put him in so that way it looks like he's like a little bustling right there. Alrighty, and there is Volcanicus with the Transform DreamWave upgrade kit. And he looks big and bulky and beefy. Alright, I guess the only other thing to do is to actually bring out his combined sword. And we will go over this combined sword. And I have to lower this again. Alrighty. And, my sword did not come out, of the box, like some others might have. It kind of looks like it has like a little bit of battle damage done to it. It's missing some of the black paint. You can see the silver coming through in certain spots, and certain spots, you know, where it might have needed a little bit more of that red paint over the top of the silver, right at some of the crease marks. But all in all, I mean, I can keep it looking this way, so, I mean, to have it like a little battle damage kind of effect, which sometimes, you know, that effect is actually quite cool. Or I can always end up repainting it, just painting over the spots where the black paint has come off of it. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, look at the detailing on this. It kind of sort of resembles the Perfect Effect sword in a way, but we'll just have to wait for the comparison video for that. And I don't know how many people have actually tried to, hold on, oh, sorry, did not mean to knock the camera, put this in the hand. I have definitely tried putting it into Swoop's hand, but because of the joints and everything, it doesn't work out all that well. Alrighty, so, the sword, the handle of the sword is not actually meant to go into the hands. It's made so that this on either side actually goes down into the little divot, port, slot, whatever you want to call it, in the side of the hand right here. Just right there. It's to give it the effect that the handle is actually long enough and actually comes through to the bottom. So, yeah, just gotta try to pop it in there or slide it in. And I actually haven't really had the whole best of the luck trying to get it to do it, you know, like the first time. or even the second time because it's such a tight fit. And then you got to make sure that the fingers are up around it when you're actually putting it down in there, and it goes down in there at kind of an angle, you know, and the fingers are meant to be put up around, but because of the way that tab or port, yeah, let's see, there we go, you will not actually be able to get this to hold straight on and try to squeeze the fingers in too much, otherwise the sword will actually pop itself up out of there. And then this is the effect that you get. Just like that. With that. And obviously, Sludge's joints in hand, and even the joint in the Transform DreamWave hand can actually hold the sword up quite nicely, so you can angle it up, you can angle it down, just like that. Wouldn't really suggest turning it side to side because then it might pop out of there. But it has a good fit. It's not gonna pop out, you know, just from sheer, you know, like wanting to see if you can get it to come out. So holds really tight. The whole kit looks really cool. Really cool. I'd say that the Perfect Effect kit and this one are kind of the same way for like playability wise and looking wise. Sure, this one comes with a little bit extra, but the overall effect is about the same for me. They both look cool. They both have the kind of effects that you'd actually want. The new butt plate, back plate, they both have that. They both have new crotch plates, new chest pieces. So this, I like this. I mean, this looks pretty cool. But any of the other comparisons that I'm going to do is going to be saved for the next video when I got them side by side. And I mean, like I was saying, you still got the waist joint. The waist joint is still intact. All of this is still going to be intact. You do have whatever you can do for your poses with your hands, because these fingers do have some nice stiff joints in them. And then the feet, you got pretty good range of tilt either way. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't do that on camera. Have pretty good range of tilt either way. And the forward to back, you can pretty much get 2 clicks backward, and not really forward at all, but most of the time, you know, you're not really going to be using a forward click anyway. But yeah, this is a freaking cool kit. And I mean, the thigh pieces on here, they do help cover up the combiner port. And I mean, if you really wanted to, I mean, all the little leftover blaster pistols and whatnot with the pegs on them, you can still, if you really wanted to, put them into one of the ports, so that way you have a little bit of extra armament, which is cool. That's very cool. I mean, you got enough blasters left over. So, alright, I know this was kind of a long video, but definitely required in this case. So, until the next time, thanks for watching.